Aaron Rose settled along the shores of the Umpqua River in 1851. Soon the newly named town of Roseburg, Oregon, became the lumber capital of the world. Today, the hardwoods get traded in for hard racing. Is in the thick of the K&N Pro Series West points chase. A win here will help close the gap. Rookie Trevor Huddleston is looking for his first win. And points leader Ryan Partridge will be back behind the wheel of his potent Sunrise Ford. Ready to thrill the fans with round 7 of NASCAR's K&N Pro Series West from Roseburg, Oregon. It's the Clint Newell Toyota 150 presented by Napa Auto Parts from the Douglas County Speedway. Hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Sheen alongside Brandon McReynolds on a beautiful afternoon, getting ready to go racing here this evening. So where exactly is Roseburg, Oregon on this sunny 83-degree day? Let's give you a quick look at our Google map. Douglas County Speedway is 176 miles south of downtown Portland. And Brandon, this is a real tight bull ring.
It's definitely a bull ring, Ralph. I mean, 3/8 mile. Ryan Partridge actually won here back in 2016, so I think all these competitors are worried about that 9 Sunrise car.
And you can see how tight the points are. It's going to be quite a battle to the end of the championship. Well, let's introduce you to the man covering the action in the pits today. Here's Dylan Welch.
Thanks, Ralph. We're at a track tonight that the Bill McAnally Racing Team has had a stranglehold on over the last 15 years. They've had at least one car finish in the top 3 in all but one of the past 11 races here, and they had a 1-2-3 sweep last year. This year, though, it's the Sunrise Ford duo of Ryan Partridge and Derrick Thorne who have the mojo on their side. They've bookended the BMR Young Trio tonight in the starting lineup. It's going to be a battle of youth versus experience all the way through to the finish.
Well, let's take you back to 2009. One of those days, the Bill McAnally Racing Organization dominated here. The Douglas County Speedway, Derrick Holmes starting on the pole. Travis Bennett went for a ride into the wall. He wasn't the only one that had issues. Here's Phil Dugan getting turned over in turn 4. At the end of the checkers, it was Derrick Holmes from the pole to the win in the Napa number 20 for Bill McAnally Racing.
Yeah, Ralph, Derrick Holmes definitely one of the best short track racers in the country, and I'm sure Derrick Krause is really excited because he has him actually up in the spotter stand driver coaching for that young driver tonight.
Here's a look at the drivers that have won already this year, and we head back downstairs to Dylan.
Derrick Thorne on the pole tonight here at the Douglas County Speedway. First pole of the season. Your first trip here. That's not a bad way to start, is it?
No, it's not. You know, these guys, this car has been good to us all year. You know, Bob Pancrati's put us all in a good position, and Bill Sedgwick and all the guys at the shop are working hard for us to improve our program, and, you know, it's showing. And we're running well. We haven't got any poles yet this year. Being our first, it's nice to kind of get that, check that off the list, but obviously 150 laps is the most important part this night, so hopefully we got a good car. Obviously qualifying showed it. Just hopefully we got a good long-run car that can keep these guys behind us.
A lot of these K&N races have halfway breaks. This one does not. How does that change the intensity at the start?
It does and it doesn't. You know, it's kind of a chess game. You know, it's easy to burn your tires off, get excited, and, you know, go too hard too early and then regret it later. Not having a halfway break is unfortunate because we don't get to make any changes. You know, we got what we got. It's going to be a little bit of luck, and maybe a guy 5th, 6th, 7th place that just has a good balanced car that didn't have any raw speed that may be up front towards the end. And, you know, I feel like you make the best changes possible to be a good race car, and then qualifying is what it is. Luckily tonight was our night for qualifying. Just, you know, it's going to be a little bit of luck involved for some of us here in the top 10 or 15 that you know, hopefully it plays out in our favor.
Got his first pole of the year, going for his second win of the year tonight.
Bill McAnally's squad versus Bob Brancati's team. Should be a lot of fun to watch.
It's definitely going to be a battle, Ralph. I mean, we've seen this race the last couple of years. Even teammates and Chris Eggleston and Todd Gilliland beat the fenders off of those cars. So I think the best bet for Derrick Thorne is just stay out front and keep the fenders on that car.
K&N Pro Series Racing and NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. Back here in Southern Oregon, the Clint Newell Toyota 150 presented by Napa Auto Parts, round 7. NASCAR's K&N Pro Series West Championship getting ready to go racing. Not a huge field here today. but a really interesting racetrack. And a little bit of banking in those corners, too.
Not a lot of cars, really tight exits here at this racetrack. It's going to be side-by-side battling all night long, but I expect that group to be right on the bottom.
Dylan, who should we keep an eye on?
Well, Ralph, one of the drivers I'm keeping my eye on tonight is the young lady from Temecula, California, and that, of course, is Hailey Deegan. She's coming off a really solid weekend at Sonoma last Saturday when she raced a lot of the Cup boys that were in the field awfully hard and came home with a solid 7th-place finish. She's been fast today, 4th and 2nd in the 2 practice sessions earlier. She's rolling off from 4th tonight, going to try and translate all she's learned about stock car racing thus far into her first career stock car win.
Well, this could be a place where it could come to.
Absolutely, anyone has a shot. It's definitely a tough field. As you mentioned, not a lot of cars, but there you see Cole Rouse starting in row 2 on the bottom. He's really hungry to get a win, and it'll be interesting to see where he winds up at the end of the night.
And how about Jeff Jefferson back behind the wheel?
That's so cool to see him get a shot to come out here. I know he's been grinning ear to ear all day during practice.
Getting ready for the green, and here we go. Through the sunlight on the backstretch and back into the shadows through 3 and 4. And Thorne will lead the first lap.
Thorne got a really good jump on the bottom on that start of this race. Really good exits. What we're going to see is these guys dime in the corner a little bit, enter a little bit low, let the car wash up in the center, and get that really straight run up off the corner. As you see Derrick Thorne doing that in the 6 right now, leading the race.
The 16 is Derrick Krause. At 99, his teammate Cole Rouse on the inside. And then right behind them, Hailey Deegan in another one of the Bill McAnally cars.
Definitely nothing new to see the BMR cars running up front. Cole Rouse with a really strong start to this race, working over his teammate of Derrick Krause in the 16. Doing a nice job just holding that car on the bottom. But I tell you what, Ralph, I'm impressed with the 16 of Derrick Krause as he's able to clear the 99. That outside normally doesn't have a lot of grip. A year ago, they treated it and put some sticky substance down, but it's not out there this year.
Krause getting his Napa Auto Parts Toyota just in front of the 99, the Napa Belts and Hoses Toyota. How about that sunlight going right through here and then down the backstretch? Is that going to be much of an issue?
That's got to be a little tough entering into turn 3. I'm sure these guys are waiting on the laps to click by and that sun to set a little bit more, but it makes it definitely tough on a short track when you're entering right on the guy or the girl's bumper right in front of you with that sun basically blasting you right in the eye. It's definitely got to be difficult for these young racers. Ryan
Partridge in his number 9 Sunrise Ford. That's one of Bob Brancati's machines. Chasing the 19 of Hailey Deegan's Mobil 1 Napa Power Premium Plus car. Looked like she got a little loose there coming off a 2.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Ryan's really working over Hailey Deegan right now, trying to get to that left rear quarter panel. She's doing a really good job keeping them pinned down. And when you're running outside of the racetrack as a driver, you really got to take away that lower groove. That way that guy on the bottom can't roll up and get even with you. But Ryan Partridge looks to be rolling the center of the corner really well right here at the start.
Well, how about Jeff Jefferson right behind him in the 27 as we see Partridge now completing the pass for 4th.
Yeah, a lot of experience with Jeff Jefferson in the 27. As I mentioned, it's so cool to see him get an opportunity to come and race in his own equipment. Jerry Pitts crew chiefing him. It's just a great combination of 2 really experienced and really smart guys. Really cool to see kind of an older guy get a shot out here to race with these kids.
Back to the battle for 2nd. Now, we heard the drivers talking at the beginning of the show that you have what you have. So you have to save some of what you have as well. Do you think that's what our 2 Bill McAnally cars here in 2nd and 3rd are doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're in a good spot right now, and they have really good people talking to them on the radio, trying to keep them calm down and taking care of those tires. This racetrack has a fair amount of grip, but there's no sense to push your tires right now on lap 13 of this race more than you have to. Just sit there, bide your time a little bit, knock off some laps, and wait to the end to really start getting after it. What I would expect is these guys to get really racy with about probably 50 laps to go.
Hailey Deegan not letting Partridge escape her clutches. He ran her pretty hard there to get by the inside. It was a strong move, but she's going to show him she's got the pace as well. She stays right glued to the back of his number 9.
Hailey doesn't always have the most amount of raw speed, but what's so cool to see out of her is just week in and week out, her getting better, really being a sponge out on the racetrack and taking everything in. We saw Ryan Partridge get up underneath her and pass her, but as you mentioned, she's able to hang right there with this top 5, and she's going to be right in the thick of this thing when they come down to the end, as long as she can stay in the race.
How about the 99 taking a peek there? Cole Rouse. Oh, and the caution comes out. First one of the day. Coming out fairly early, and it's Andrew Cohen's in the 77. Cohen's in the Camper Corner Toyota from right here in Roseburg, Oregon. So we can take a look and figure out what happened to him.
Yeah, just entering in on the bottom right there, up underneath another car. Just he's without a lot of banking at this racetrack. It's really light entries and hard to keep your stuff underneath you entering down in the corner. But luckily no contact, so he's going to be able to rejoin the back of the field.
The sun is setting behind the hills all around Douglas County Speedway. We'll be back to go to green. Getting ready to go back to green here in Roseburg, Oregon. Douglas County Speedway. Green flag will wave once again on lap number 20. Fighting for position once again. Thorne and that number 6 should have the advantage on the inside. Krause fighting hard on the outside.
Krause doing a really nice job right now, keeping Derrick Thorne in the 6 pinned down, just almost about to clear the 6 of Derrick Thorne. And he's got to fight really hard right here, a lot like Martinsville Speedway, as we see in the Cup cars. If you get hung on the outside, sometimes those guys can freight train you, but Derrick Krause showing the strength right now, being able to clear the 6 of Derrick Thorne.
Well, I wasn't so sure how hard he was going to push that, being so early in the race and not wanting to use up the tires, but well, he got out there and made it work, didn't he?
I'm sure Eric Holmes, his spotter and driver coach on the radio, was saying they're all lined up on the bottom, so that definitely makes the driver push that panic button and really get after it no matter how many laps you are into the race. And but he's in a good spot right now. He's able to clear, get the lead. Now he's able to go back and start taking care of those tires, let his tires cool down a little bit and settle in and start getting back into his rhythm.
Yeah, had he stayed on the outside, he might have ended up in 6th. Thorne right around the very bottom of the racetrack.
That really shows good handling in his race car. I know Bill Sedgwick and that group, they've been working really hard, working on the turnability of those race cars to where they're able to line wrap, so to speak, and enter right around the bottom. And both Sunrise cars looking really good here at the start.
Let's learn more about Derrick Krause. Here's Dylan.
Well, Derrick Krause, of course, grew up in Wisconsin and grew up racing on tight bull rings in the Midwest, and mentioned earlier that he normally prefers the faster places, the big half miles in these K&N cars that they get to run every now and then. So not really the short track specialist that you may think he is, but he's looked awfully good out here in the early going. You know, guys, they haven't had a finish better than 4th since the season opening race at Kern County Raceway in Bakersfield, which of course he won after battling with Kevin Harvick. So they're looking to kind of right the ship, so to speak, and get things back on track, and there'd be no better way to do that than, of course, by getting a win here tonight at Douglas County Speedway.
Well, this was a perfect racetrack for Bill McAnally Racing to come to at this point in the season when they're looking for a little injection of momentum. They have won 8 of the last 11 races here at this facility, and that could be just the momentum boost they're looking for. Hailey Deegan could get it done.
What's up? I'm Hailey Deegan. I drove the number 19 for Bill McAnally Racing. I started racing when I was 8 years old in off-road trucks. Actually, not many people come from that background, but I've won 4 championships since then, and it's been going good. I still race off-road trucks a little bit, but I'm focused on my style car racing. I race some legend cars, late models, super late models, all of the above. Honestly, I see more of a career for me transitioning over from off-road to pavement, and I just see so much more for myself in stock racing. I feel like I have the ability to do it. Eventually, by midway through the season or so, I want to be the first Joe in my K&N race. There hasn't been one to do it, and I think that throughout time, I'll have the ability to do it. I'm Hailey Deegan, and that's your NASCAR Next Gen profile.
I've known Hailey and watched her grow up, having known her dad and her family for many years. And if she has 1/10 of the determination her dad Brian has, she'll get it all done.
Absolutely, Ralph. I mean, you see them interact at the racetrack, and they're definitely intense competitors. And like I said, just to see the discipline that she has with her 19 group over at Bill McAnally Racing and the position that her dad's put her in to work with really good people, it's definitely a good step for her. And it's just awesome to see a girl like her come out here and have a lot of success and continue to get better week in and week out.
She's won races, she's won championships. There's no doubt she can get it done. I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, that's right. And going back and watching that piece right there that was shot earlier in the year, it's cool to see her back up everything that she said. She wasn't in a hurry to go out there and win races. She said by the mid-season, which we're all over right now, she wants to be a competitor and be able to contend for wins. And I think we'll see that out of her as she's running really strong at the start of the race.
Backing up what she says is another trait that comes from her dad. Brian tells you he's going to pull off a trick, he's going to do it. Good battle here for third. She's fighting with her teammate Cole Rouse right now, just in front of her in the 99.
Cole Rouse definitely in a good position here tonight. And like you said, it's a good benchmark off of the races that BMR's had here in the past. Chris Eggleston in the 99 that ran that car last year has always had a lot of success at this racetrack. Cole looking really strong running in third place right now.
Here's Cody Vander Waal in the 43. And the Bill Wright Signs LaSalle Oil Ford starting to move its way up towards the front.
Working the bottom of the racetrack really well, able to get up underneath Jeff Jefferson in the 27 car. Jeff looks like he's struggling to roll the middle a little bit, struggling with a little bit of forward drive, and that's what happens at these places. If you don't turn the center of the corner and you have a lot of wheel in it, you end up getting really loose up off the corner, and you'll see that the tail of the race car kind of dancing around, but both drivers doing a really nice job.
Getting around the 11 of Takuma Koga right now, his Toyota.
Always love seeing Cody Vander Waal's car. It says your name here on the front of it for trying to get some sponsorship out of somebody. And he dominated. If we go back to the races at Tucson Speedway earlier in the year, he dominated those races.
Closing in on the halfway point here, too. And the caution comes out. Second one of the day. No cars around anywhere on the track. We're hearing from our NASCAR officials debris has been spotted on the racing surface.
It just reached the point in the race when those tires are probably starting to slip and slide a little bit, so I'm sure all these drivers are excited that you get to calm down a little bit, let those all four tires cool down for a few laps here, and then go back racing.
Well, the field is tucked in behind our Toyota Pace truck, and we'll be right back for more racing action from Oregon after this. Back here in Douglas County Speedway, Ralph Shaheen and Brandon McReynolds alongside Dylan Welch covering the action down on the pits. Here we go, ready to go back to green after our second caution of the day.
A few games going on right there on that restart. The 6 of Derrick Thorne almost got rolling, and then Derrick Krause lagged back, and we've seen Derrick Krause get in trouble for these restarts with NASCAR on some of these races. So really good move for Derrick Krause to jump out there to a little bit bigger of a lead.
Oh boy, things getting tight down there in 1 and 2. And the tricky start is going to cost Thorne. He's going to have to tuck into third, then gets wide in 4. And Hailey Deegan might come by on the inside.
We're seeing these BMR cars have a lot of that long run speed, even though we just had a restart. 74 laps on our tires right now. All 3 BMR cars running up front, looking really strong, and those Sunrise Fords starting to struggle a little bit here on into the race.
Well, Thorne is going to go all the way back here behind his teammate Ryan Partridge. Boy, that was a horrific start for him.
Yeah, it's almost like he got going almost, and he panicked and had to check up and wait on the leader, Derrick Krause, so he didn't beat him to the line. Derrick Krause got a big jump on the field, and we talked about it earlier, getting freight train on that outside. It's really hard to get back down and definitely costly for Derrick Thorne in the 6.
You saw the cross green and white signifying halfway, and Thorne finds himself back in 5th now. And Hailey Deegan is fighting for 2nd with her teammate Cole Rouse.
Cole Rouse looking really strong, but a little bit of contact with the two teammates. We've seen that here before with the BMR cars at this racetrack, just racing really hard, fighting for every position. But Cole Rouse, I've seen his car a couple times almost get a little loose on entry. Right there, he almost washes up the hill a little bit. It's really hard as a driver to keep that car on the bottom once you feel that loose sensation getting into the corner. But his car still looks like it's rolling the middle really well.
Hailey gets by, and now it looks like things might get a little sketchy for Rouse as Partridge starts to push past on the bottom here, and Thorne is lined up behind him.
And this is where Cole Rouse has to be really disciplined in that 99 car. He has to make sure, dime in the corner a little bit, take away the exit for Ryan Partridge. That way he can get back down in line. If he tries to overdrive the entry of the corner, he's just going to wash up, and those guys will just freight train him all day long.
Slipping and sliding through the corners, and Partridge just trying to inch his way past here.
That's what's so cool about the racing here at Douglas County Speedway, seeing this side-by-side action. The guys are being respectful, racing really hard, inches apart, but, you know, not running into one another and taking each other out. But I'm sure Partridge, he'll only stay down on the bottom like that and only be so patient with Cole Rouse for a certain number of laps before he says, hey, man, I got to move on with my day and try to get this position.
Oh, boy, they are not leaving a lot of room between each other, are they?
Definitely not, and this is where Cole Rouse has to be smart as well. They're trying to
go through some
lap traffic. There it is. Runs him up the hill. That's what I was about to say. He almost would have been better to drop back behind the 9 of Ryan Partridge, being that he had a small gap. There he goes. Plugs the hole in between him and Derrick Thorne in the 6.
Oh, and here comes Thorne inside. They came up on the car of Rudy Vander, and boy, that forced the issue, didn't it? And now Levine in the 10 is here as well.
That's got to be so aggravating for Cole Rouse. He had a really good night, and just within a matter of 5 or 6 laps, he goes from running 3rd all the way back to 5th, 6th, 7th right here, just trying to hang on. And he's got to regroup, get his tires calm back down. His night's not over, still a lot of racing left.
Something Thorne, just in front of him, knows all too well.
And that's that experience that we talked about. You see Cole Rouse, he's getting anxious. He's sliding the car around a lot. Derrick Thorne just had that happen to him, as you mentioned, and just being smooth. He knows that there's still a lot of laps left in this race to regain those spots.
Matt Levine in the Port of Tucson, back number 10. Has his Chevrolet right there.
It's cool to see Matt having a strong run tonight. I mean, him and Ron Norman put so much into this series. They spent a lot of time, effort, and money coming to these racetracks and competing in the K&N West Series. So great to see him up there running 6th, having a really strong run.
Closing in on the 100-lap mark. This race scheduled for 150.
One of the things watching these BMR cars is Derrick Krause is still leading this race, Ralph, is that these guys, BMR, for so many years before they came out with the testing rule, they were able to shoot down to Roseville, just right down the corner from Bill McAnally's shop, and go up there and test and work on their setups for these style of racetracks. So I think from all those years of testing on these type of racetracks, a 3/8 mile, which reminds me a lot of Roseville, you know, same amount of grip level. I think that's why we see these Bill McAnally racing cars able to handle so well at these style of racetracks.
All-America Raceway. When you're talking about right there in Roseville.
One of my favorite places to race back when I was running the West Series. Really great racetrack, and it reminds me a lot of Douglas County.
One of the first places I ever announced at. Know it well. This battle continuing here, and it's a pretty good fight. And it looks like Levine is able to run the bottom a little bit tighter as well.
Absolutely. He's just sizing up Cole Rouse in the 99 right now, figuring out where the 99 is going to make a mistake. And I think where he can get him is just inching away at it. Don't try to get too much. Just be there whenever that 99 of Cole Rouse slips up a little bit, as we saw earlier, getting down into the corner. That's what's so tempting on these short tracks, is whenever you're right behind somebody, you want to overdrive and charge the entry of that corner, but you just have to be disciplined, roll the middle, and try to set yourself up for a good exit.
With more from the pits, here's Dylan Welch.
Guys, our points leader, Ryan Partridge, right now running in that third spot. He's, of course, a former winner here back in 2016. And he had some interesting things to say about the line you run around this racetrack. You know, on paper, it looks like maybe turns 1 and 2 are the same as 3 and 4. He said that's not the case. Turns 3 and 4, you kind of have to turn into a double apex corner, kind of run it as a diamond. You drive into the corner, let the car drift up, then turn it again off the center of the corner and kind of hit the bottom white line off the corner to get a nice shot down the straightaway. Turns 1 and 2, he said you kind of have to drive the car into the corner straight, then cut it down across the middle to shoot yourself straight off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. So 2 different mentalities being employed by him and the rest of this field as well as they try to navigate their way around this 0.4 of a mile racetrack.
Ryan definitely makes a good point bringing that up. It's really tough to get around this 3/8 miles, so you have to give yourself a little bit of room so you can set yourself up and make those, what I always tell Noah Gregson working with him, make those straightaways as long as possible. Keep the rear tires hooked up, get all the wheel out of the car, that way you can launch up off the corner and keep good momentum. But the trickiest part on these short tracks, Ralph, is whenever you have someone right behind you, you can't run that diamond. You have to protect right there, as we see the 2 teammates really pushing each other around.
Pushing each other, and how about picking him up and moving him around? Boy, Thorne got right up underneath the rear deck of his teammate Partridge in the 9.
Partridge reminded me of Kevin Harvick in Martinsville a little bit. He got run into by his teammate, and he stabbed the brake pedal, it looked like, just telling him he didn't really appreciate that. Looked like he got that left rear wrinkled up a little bit on his Sunrise Ford.
Well, and now the 99 is going to try to take advantage. Rouse trying to get one of those spots back he lost.
And that's what I was mentioning right there. As we saw those 2 teammates getting into one another, it looked like Ryan Partridge tried to open up his entry and down to the center a little bit, get that diamond going to where he could exit lower off the corner, maybe not knowing how close Derrick Thorne in the 6 really was to his left rear quarter panel.
Well, he now knows how close Cole Rouse is. Rouse is starting to lean on him, and hard.
Yeah, Rouse is definitely probably being pretty impatient right here, just running into the back of the 6 of Derrick Thorne. I know he's got to be aggravated from losing that track position, so I'm sure he's going to get pretty aggressive right here and try to get some of these spots back.
Matt Levine trying to get some as well in the 10. And it's that lap traffic that always comes into play, like right here.
Yeah, timing out the lap traffic is definitely very important. I'm sure all these spotters are keeping them aware of where these lap cars are at. That way you don't catch them at the wrong time. Probably the best time to catch a lap car is on the straightaway, and you just hope that they slow up so you can have your entry back into the corner.
Well, we're getting inside the final 50. Temper is going to start to show as we race to the checkers. Less than 50 laps to go, the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West from the Douglas County Fairgrounds here in Roseburg, Oregon. Derrick Thorne on the pole in the 6, but it's Krause in the 16 that would eventually get to the front. And then we'd have our first spin of the day as Andrew Cohen spins his machine. We've only had 2 cautions. Derrick Krause leading now. And things should really start to heat up inside these final 50 laps.
Absolutely, Ralph. And if we get another caution, I'd be surprised to see if the leader of Derrick Krause took the outside lane again. I know it's definitely a risk. You don't want the second place guy to have an advantage or to get into your door and spin you out being on the inside, but that's something I'd be thinking about as a crew chief or a spotter, is if we do get a late race caution, you might want to think about doing what Derrick Krause did, getting that launch and getting a good run off the exit to regain the lead there earlier on in the race.
Well, a caution is something Cole Rouse in the 99 would like to see. I know he feels that car has been pretty quick. It certainly has been. Just a bad break or two has put him deeper in the top 5 than he'd like to be.
And that's the thing, when you're a young racer, when you have one mistake, you slip up a little bit, you lose a few spots, you can't let those mistakes compound. You got to make sure that you stay in the race, keep focused, make sure that you go out there and execute, and not let your emotions get the best of you. And we've seen Cole get pretty antsy running into a few guys, so hopefully he's taking this time to regroup a little bit, let his tires cool down, and try to make a charge up towards the front here in the late going.
No problems up front so far here for Derrick Krause. He's trying to get another one for the Bill McAnally Racing Organization. This would be win 9 in the last 12 here at Douglas County Speedway.
He's obviously in the best seat in the house leading this race, but he's just got to take his time right here, going by all the lap traffic. He's got a demanding lead. I mean, he's out there checked out on this field by a little over a straightaway. Really good position right here.
But one driver who might have a shot at him is Hailey Deegan. Dylan?
Well, guys, as we talked about in the Open, it's really been an impressive last couple weeks for Hailey Deegan. She ran really, really well last week at Sonoma. A lot of Cup guys in the field there. Qualified third against them, raced them hard all afternoon long, finished seventh. Oh, by the way, she also received her high school diploma on the stage during driver intros before that race. And tonight she's been impressive really since the start of practice earlier this afternoon. Was fourth fastest in practice in the first round, then second fastest in the final practice session. And it just seems like everything is kind of starting to click for her. All this knowledge that she's accumulated over the last couple years, racing stock cars with the K&N series this year, and of course raced late models at tracks like Madeira here on the West Coast last year, which is another tight bull ring like this one. All of it is kind of coming together, and she's putting together a really solid run so far tonight.
Brandon, Dylan talked about things are starting to click for her. When did you feel like things started to click for you?
I think the biggest thing was having Ty Joyner come over, and work with us at Bill McAnally Racing. I mean, as a young driver, it really started clicking as I just got more seat time, and that's the thing that Bill and Hailey's dad have done a really nice job of is making sure she's always in a race car. She's always sitting in a seat, getting those laps, gaining experience, even throughout the weekdays. So that's really important. But Ty Joyner over at Bill McAnally Racing, he's really sharp. His brother, actually, crew chiefs Matt Crafton, NASCAR K&N Truck Series. So it's definitely about good people, good preparation, and then just having the right people surrounding you to help you get better and mature as a young racer.
25 laps to go here. Would not be surprised at all to see Thorne in the 6 repay the favor to Partridge in the 9 as these laps wind down.
Yeah, I've watched Derrick Thorne for so many years racing, and he definitely doesn't put up with anything like that.
Oh, caution, and it's Jeff Jefferson. Caution number 3 on the day.
Tough break for Jeff. He was having a really good run, running inside the top 10, taking care of his race car, but looks like he just spun around there and hopefully be able to rejoin the back of the field with just a few laps left.
It's deep in the middle of turn 2, maybe a little contact. Hard to tell.
Yeah, it looks like him and Trevor Huddleston were racing hard for position and just fighting for the same real estate.
Less than 25 to go when we come back for the green on NBCSN. Well, here we go. Ralph Shaheen and Brandon McReynolds and Dylan Welch with you. Less than 25 laps to go as we get set to see the green flag wave again here in Oregon. Right back into the lead goes the number 16 of Derrick Krause.
He did the opposite of what I was thinking earlier. I guess if I would have been in that position, I might have taken the top because Derrick Krause had success with that earlier, clearing Derrick Thorne to get the lead, but he was able to hook up those rear tires. Looked like Hailey Deegan spun her tires a little bit and had to settle for third.
And Thorne is buried deep as the caution comes out again. And it's Andrew Cohen's one more time. There'll be less than 20 to go here. See what happened to Cohen's this time. Again, just too deep into the corner?
Yeah, same wreck as earlier, same spin out as earlier. It looks like he might just have a little too much rear brake in his car and it comes around on him. But I'm sure Hailey Deegan in that 19 was glad to get that caution when she did. Now she's able to restart back on the bottom, which is where Ryan Partridge got around her as he was running third before that last restart.
Boy, Vanderwald's in a great spot here in 5th in the 43, the red and blue car on the inside, right behind her. Rouse is on the outside. Thorne is on the outside. Boy, he needs a good start. Here we go. 14 laps remaining, and oh, it's going to get tight. And Rouse, they go 3 wide. Deegan's on the inside. Rouse is getting beaten and battered like a pinball in there. Partridge goes wide, and here comes Thorne through the middle.
Yeah, Rouse just got really impatient right there. He tried to thread the needle, shoot up the middle, beating and banging. He better hope that he doesn't get a flat tire right here. A lot of contact and a lot of damage on that right front.
And a big advantage for Vander. He clears a whole bunch of cars, and now Rouse right into Thorne. And Partridge back to the inside. Man, there's not going to be a square ball. Look at this. And around goes a 99.
Yeah, I think those Sunrise Fords definitely just had enough of Cole Rouse beating and banging on them and just decided to send him on up the racetrack and try to get him out of the way.
There is not a smooth piece of bodywork left on the 99.
And that's one of the things we talked about, Ralph. You have to have the discipline. You see him just banging off these guys. Then he tries to go back down to the bottom, just not being smooth. Ends up getting run into by Partridge, which he had, in Partridge's defense, he had gotten roughed up by Cole Rouse in the 99 right before that.
Well, we thought the tempers were going to start to flare, and they sure did here.
Sometimes you can get away with roughing up some rookies or some younger guys, but when you start racing Derrick Thorne and Ryan Partridge, guys like that, it's you definitely got to make sure you don't put your hand in a rattlesnake's mouth.
Watch Matt Levine here, too. He does a nice job on the brakes, keeping the 10 clean and gaining some ground.
Definitely a heads-up move, and I'm sure he saw that move coming because watching those guys beat and bang, he's like, I'm sure something big's about to happen. I don't know what, but definitely heads-up move.
Yeah, I think we all saw that one coming. Here comes the green flag as we get ready to get back at it. Should be about 7 to go. Krause again, quick on the throttle.
Cody Vander Waal fighting really hard down there in third up underneath Hailey Deegan. She definitely got a better restart out of the restart box, but it almost looks like her car takes a couple laps to come in and get those front tires working.
Smoke now off of the rear of Thorne 6. Looks like a tire rub.
Yeah, a lot of contact between him and his teammate all night long, and Ryan Partridge, and then obviously the contact with Cole Rouse. I'm sure he's just trying to limp that car home and hope he doesn't lose too many points here.
Matt Levine now taking advantage of that smoking left rear.
Sure, Bill Sedgwick's telling Derrick Thorne just to take care of that race car, make sure he finishes out the last couple laps and doesn't have an issue by cutting down that left rear tire. If you go too fast and push the issue or get run into again, your day's pretty much over.
Oh, there goes Matt Levine. Caution waves again. And Thorne was going to try to make something happen there, and he did.
Yeah, it makes you feel bad for Matt Levine in the 10. He had been minding his own business all night, but just hard racing with just a couple laps left. Looks like Thorne got a little loose down in the corner, maybe overdrove the corner a little bit on entry, and around goes the 10 of Matt Levine. Hailey's going to get another shot at it here, restarting on the outside.
Should be 3 to go. Should Hailey Deegan get her first win? Can Krause get win number 2 on the year? Here we go.
What she's got to do is just try to pin the 16 down, but he's just so strong, able to exit the corner and clear the 19 of Hailey Deegan.
He has been great on all of his starts today. Whether it's from the outside or the inside, that has been his strongest point of the day. Deegan with a great run in second place. Vander Waal sits in third. Final lap. Checkered flag awaits. And Bill McAnally Racing gets exactly what they need. A win here at Douglas County Speedway in the Clinton Newell Toyota 150 presented by Napa Auto Parts. It is their 9th win here at this racetrack in the last 12 races, and the 2nd of the year for Krause. And a great run for Hailey Deegan as she finishes in 2nd. We'll be right back to hear from the winner. K&N Pro Series Racing at NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. Back here at Douglas County Speedway, Roseburg, Oregon. And just what we expected. Boy, it was a real tussle at the finish. Coming out on top, Derrick Krause with his second win of the year. Here he comes.
He had to survive a couple late race restarts, but he handled it like a pro. Derrick Krause, his second win of the year. First win since the season opener at Bakersfield. And Derrick just was talking about how it's your first win since the season opener at Bakersfield. Does it feel good just to get that monkey off your back, get back in victory lane again?
Yeah, we definitely need that win tonight. We struggled a little bit in practice yesterday, but we found the car lock today. We got qualified second, and then the race, this thing was really good. It was a little tight in the center, but it was a really good car. BMR brought me a great number 16 App Auto Parts Toyota Camry. I'm really excited for this win, and we're going to carry this momentum on to Iowa.
You were in this car, or driving for this team last year, finished third. Obviously had a great run here today. All three of the Bill McAnally cars were good today. What is it about this program at this track that you feel like you guys have a good handle on?
I don't know, BMR, they work really hard on their cars. One night I was there at the shop for 2 weeks, and one night they were there till 5 in the morning working on the race car. That makes me as a driver feel really good about my car that comes to the racetrack every weekend. Then also a good job to Hailey Deegan, her best finish of the year. She'll get to that win at the end of the year for sure. I feel like she's really good.
Yeah, were you those last restarts, did she have you nervous at all?
Yeah, I was a little nervous. Derrick Holmes was in my ear. He said she had a pretty good car, so I was a little nervous, but I feel like once we got clear, I could run and get in a rhythm, and that's when I would be better.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Derrick Krause, your winner tonight at the Douglas County Speedway.
Now Derrick Holmes in the black golf shirt back there, who won at this very racetrack for Bill McAnally, spotting here tonight, celebrating with the team. Here's a look at the results, and what a great run for Hailey, and how about Cody Vander as well?
Absolutely. Two good runs for those drivers, and Derrick Thorne able to hang on in fifth right there, even with all that damage late in the race.
Well, it wasn't the win she's looking for, but it's coming soon, I got to believe. Here she is, Hailey Deegan.
Hailey Deegan comes home in the second spot tonight, and that was quite a run. You had to work hard for that.
Yeah, I was working hard there in the beginning. I felt like not even in the end that much. I felt like in the beginning we were definitely, I knew track position was a big thing, so I was using my bumper there for a little while, moved a couple people around, got the track position that I wanted. To be there in the end, maybe we could have made a move on Derrick. I think starting on the outside here, it's so hard to make a move. Just getting down, you're worrying about that. So maybe if I got to start back behind him, we could have made a move, but I'm happy with second.
You had a really solid run last week at Sonoma. Obviously, really good run tonight. Do you feel like everything kind of on this stock car side of things is starting to click for you a little bit?
Yeah, I feel like not necessarily click, but almost like kind of the expected, let's get better and better each race. Every race has been clicking off top fives. Let's just keep hitting them off, and got 2 top fives, now we're on top 3. So second, definitely one of my goals, breaking down the barrier for me, and so I feel like next thing we're going to go for is a win.
Great young for this young lady tonight. Hailey Deegan, second place.
She's got the speed. She's showing the racecraft. Maybe it's just a lucky break she's just lacking right now.
Absolutely. She mentioned it, Ralph. If she felt like if she could have restarted on the bottom, she might have had a shot to go up there and contend with her teammate, Derrick Krause, for the win. But second place, not too shabby.
Well, there's a good look at the points, and we head back downstairs to meet the man who finished in third here this afternoon. Here's Dylan once again.
Cody Vander comes home in the third spot, and you kind of just were in the right place at the right time there when all those guys got after it down there in turn 1. How was that from your perspective?
Yeah, I think we had a little bit of luck with we were in the inside lane at the right time, but I think I saved a lot more tire than most of these guys did because I knew my car wasn't quite there. We weren't real happy with it in practice, but it turned out to be really good on the long runs. I saved my tires knowing that was going to be my best shot, and got a little bit lucky there, but we also had a really good car at the end.
Cody Vander third place tonight. He rounds out the podium.
Well, it was a great race with the West Series, and coming up on Tuesday, July 24th, it'll be the K&N Pro Series East Throwback 100 from Thompson Speedway in Connecticut. See it at 6 p.m. Eastern. Well, it wasn't a huge field of cars, but, man, there was some great racing.
That was some of the best racing. When we talked about it, Ralph, we knew that with 50 laps to go, the gloves are going to be off. These drivers are going to be beating and banging, and that's pretty much what we saw with the last 50 laps of the race.
For Dylan Welch and Brandon McReynolds, I'm Ralph Shaheen. So long for now from Douglas County Speedway in Roseburg, Oregon. And congratulations to our winner here in the K&N Pro Series West, Derrick Krause.